Now they're getting up to 85, 90% THC levels.
And what does this do?
I think, honestly, I think mental health-wise, I think it's going to lead to more psychosis.
Yeah, your kid's on drugs. Well, there's another one about some people who work with children. This guy works with kids on substance abuse. And when I asked him what the biggest threat was, he said marijuana. And listen to his reasoning. Seems fair enough. I was kind of surprised to hear that. I thought it'd be, with all the other drugs that are out there. I'm no one to lecture anybody on drugs. In the era I grew up in, and all the different drugs I experimented with, I'm surprised I got two functioning brain cells that connect together. But so, you know, I don't do any of it anymore. I'm taking aspirin. Yeah, just that alternate. In some sense. I mean, some drugs open up some avenues and do some things that I'm not sorry I experimented with them. Just wouldn't take them anymore, though. Not there, don't need it. But I think you should at least, if you are going to experiment with them, get to an age where, where your brain is a bit more developed than doing them as a teenager. But that's what this guy does. And, I tip of the hat to him. Anybody that goes out there and can, and does this kind of work with kids, or does anything for kids, to me has to be applauded. And God bless all the parents out there. I mean, it's got to be tough to be a parent these days. Imagine any time's a tough time to be a parent, but this day and age. All right, you know what you do. If you like, you like. If you care, share. If you can, you can contribute. I'll catch you on the far side.
Off of probation, doing substance alcohol and drug treatment and mental health treatment.
You got to be busy.
Yeah.
Correct. And there's a conference.
Yeah, the APPA Adult Probation Parole conference. It's I think it's at the Marriott Convention Center there.
Yeah.
It starts on Monday.
What's the biggest? We hear opiates is a big problem. We hear meth. Marijuana?
Yeah. I think especially the high potency of marijuana now. It's not like, in the 70s, marijuana was 70% or 7%.
I remember that.
And then, even 5 years ago, it was 21%. Now they're getting up to 85, 90% THC levels.
And what does this do?
I think, honestly, I think mental health-wise, I think it's going to lead to more psychosis.
Yeah.
And just, I don't think the brain is meant to take that much on. And the kids just...
As a professional, what do you advocate? You're doing the treatment, but how do we prevent?
Yeah. Part of it is, what I do, I work with the family system, So creating a good, healthy attachment within the family, I think that breakdown has hurt things. With some of the kids, smoking pot versus doing like the potent stuff, this like harm reduction. You got to think like that sometimes. Like what is really going to impact your life? And these brains are developing.
Right.
And there's parts of the brain like that don't develop when you're always high.
Right.
Dealing with stress, anger, emotions, things like that. Especially as I work with mainly teenage boys. We don't feel a lot or express our feelings anyways. So if those parts of the brains aren't developing in good ways, then it just really handicaps you the rest of your life into adulthood and stuff like that.
I'm torn between this because as a libertarian, I kind of like, or in this sense I am, when I think about that we should, of course, I think it starts with education. Mm-hmm. I think we should educate.
I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, at an early age, educate the kids. Tell them what this is doing to them.
Yep.
But when they get of legal age, you're on your own. Once you've learned what it does, if you still want to go out there and do it,
you make your choices.
I don't see how the government then should step in to try to stop you from doing that, because that creates a police state.
The government started legalizing all this because I believe just it's a money thing.
Oh, well, indeed.
I mean, they're not getting the money that's illegally going through. The more things they can make legal, they're going to profit off of. So I think
they're going to profit either way. They're going to profit off of its illegality because they're going to do it through the prison system and the lawyers and the courts and all of that other stuff. So they make out either way.
Yeah.
But as I say, to me, to try to to minimize this problem, I think you start early. You start with the kids early.
I would agree.
But have we already screwed that up? Is the school system already too far? Because I talked to a lot of educators out here, and they say that that basically the school system itself is corrupted, tainted. It's more of indoctrination than education. And what they do teach aren't the proper.
Yeah, like how does a lot of what you go through the motions in school. A lot of these kids.
Yeah.
You learn information for a very short time that doesn't appear to be very useful in your life. That's where a lot of kids
So a lot of life skills aren't being taught.
Yeah, but it's a lot of these kids are missing the social aspect of school and the ability to focus and just interact.
Also, isn't that have a lot to do with what she's got in her hand right there? That we're not communicating.
We're disconnecting from each other.
We're becoming more like drone-like, because everybody's connected electronically rather than through human, So, are you homeschooling?
You're welcome for the demonstration.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
And what do you do with your own kids? How are you handling this? Because obviously you've got firsthand, experience with all of this.
You guys were talking about the drug epidemic. I'm sorry.
Well, all of it. How you
the phones.
Oh.
So one of her boys is very big into video games.
Yes.
So there's a disconnect socially. We were talking about that a little bit during lunch.
Yeah, actually.
And he has anxiety, social anxiety.
Yeah.
And he's not flexing that muscle as much because he's staying home a little bit more. So it's like, but he's doing something he loves and makes him happy. But there's a social aspect, even talking to his friends on the gaming systems and stuff like that. But I don't know what.
Yeah, but then
I've been to actually there's a counselor in Portland that does he does workshops and so forth about like teens and technology and kind of managing that, and he advocates for basically trying to find a balance, like showing an interest, playing with them, and of course encouraging other activities, like not being extreme either way, saying like no screens, no phones, because we live in a society that
is moving in
that just is the reality.
Well, moving in some places, in some instances, maybe a little bit too far, too fast.
But
I just finished reading this book. I highly recommend it because both of you could probably benefit from it, from what you're doing. what we're talking about, but it's about AI, robotic interaction with the new technologies coming in that are integrating into our lives to the point where we're losing our disconnect with other humans and becoming more, drone-like. We're,
I don't need to ask you a question. I pull out my phone and answer it, like I'm not even interacting with somebody who may have that information.
Thank you.
So that's
And even someone told me they were visiting over their friend's house, and they were having a discussion about whatever, and Alexa came in and said, "I need to correct you." Oh my God. I mean, just out of the blue, saying, what you just said was incorrect.
Right.
It's like, what? I mean, to me, I'd get the snippers right there, but smashing cameras and everything else.
Right.
So, and then with the 5G coming in, because what this guy gets into is absolutely scary, into the sense of how the internet connects with the Wi-Fi into our computers, with the new powerful internets that are coming in, the new 5G and 6G. They're actually working to connect this with our human biofrequencies. So it bypasses the computer, goes directly into us, and then starts communicating with our own brains, which is made like, all right, what's Alexa's going to go? You got to say this now. I mean,
start speaking for you.
Thank you. Will we even have our own thoughts?
Yeah.
And how disconnected, are we? And then, of course, links with about, kids playing because DARPA, you're familiar with DARPA? It's the military branch. Those are the guys that, how can we make bark into a weapon? But, those are the guys that are teaching the kids. They actually seek out the ones that will be good at the games, and then recruit them in, and they become the guys that are dropping bombs from Nevada over in Afghanistan. And these guys become disconnected because they've already learned how to kill, without emotion.
I can't remember what I saw, but I saw something like that. They just did drone kills, and it was a computer game, but it was really happening. Using satellites and stuff to actually pick out people.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're mutually exclusive. I think that you can. I mean, as long as the family unit is intact and there's actual caring relationships that
important.
Gamers are engaged in, that you will always have emotion, that they can be integrated.
Yeah.
I'm saying there is an extreme where you're
totally
killing, you're disconnected, and you perhaps become numb to violence or to, but aren't humans more nuanced,
I think what you hit on there was main factors of family unit.
Yeah.
Being cohesive, staying together, and being able to work this out, maybe, to keep it in some sense. But I believe beyond that, we still have to put the brakes on the things that we cannot control right now. In other words, if the government's going to come out with 5G or 6G without even discussing it with us, how these things are going to affect us. Because they do that now. I mean, they put fluoride in the water. Did anybody discuss that with us?
And I still have cavities, so many.
Yeah, well, fluoride. Well, I mean, my thing with the fluoride in the water is that they say it's to fight Mr. Tooth Decay, right? Well, bull. Even if it did, even if it was, what right does the government have to prescribe medicine? Who are they?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to have fluoride, you should be able to go buy it on your own.
And that's an interesting thing, because I lived in Virginia, where they put fluoride in the water. Moved to Oregon. There was no real complaint when I was in Virginia about the teeth stuff. In Oregon, there's a lot of teeth problems. So, for me, I definitely get that argument. I didn't mind it because I have nice teeth now and I don't have cavities. But what else did they put in me? What else have they given me without my
Well, basic,
knowledge?
the studies show basic hygiene will prevent cavities.
Yes.
I mean, you don't need
And a lot of it's
fluoride one way or
genetic.
the
It's
other.
actually bacterial. But, I mean, according to my dentist.
What's your name?
Oh, badass, Uncle Sam.
Badass Uncle Sam.
Very nice talking
Oh, it's
to
a
you.
pleasure. God bless you guys. A pleasure. Enjoy the rest
Thank you.
of this day.
Appreciate it.
Puff, puff, puff. Yeah, if there's an addiction to the drugs, is addiction to the electronics or the... Oh, God, there's so many ways they can get us hooked. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. And I know the perfect button to contribute if you'd like. And somebody told me that, some of my long-time subscribers said they found themselves unsubscribed. So please do check if you haven't been getting the notices. Make sure you're subscribed because, get old YouTube and the powers that be are at it again. All right, thanks for stopping by. See you on the streets. God bless you. And remember, you pray for me out there. I'll be praying for you. See you.